Hello out there. This is a Tier 13 exclusive, part of 12 O'Clock Shadows, random content from the creators of 1159 Media. I'm Jack Luna, and I'm about to release publicly an episode for Dark Topic Public. And it will include two of my Dead Time stories from the past. Dead Time, in my eyes, is something that's kind of been moved on from, and I'm going to use a couple of those episodes to kind of kick off October. I have some written Halloween-esque episodes that'll come a little later in the month, but I wanted to kick it off with a couple of the old ones. So there'll be ones that you've heard if you pick them up on the public feed. And I didn't want you guys to feel left out because I have a full Dark Topic exclusive to Tier 13 coming out tomorrow. But in the meantime, I wanted to give you a story that I have about the scariest thing that ever happened to me in my life, just to show you respect. So, when I was a kid, teenager, I hung out with like a crew of guys who, I don't know what it was like for any of you, but I didn't have any money as a teenager. I mean, I was a dumbass. I was 14, really no allowance. I had stolen a bunch of money off of my stepfather at one point from a piggy bank that he had. I kept on taking toonies and loonies, that's $2, $1, out of the bottom of this. It was like a rocking chair with a man, like an old man on it, and it was in his, in this desk that he had. And I was taking money out of it for like months. And then one day he comes up to me, he's like, "You owe me $300 and something." And I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You've been stealing money from me for months, and I've been keeping track of it. You got to go and mow lawns or shovel snow and do whatever you can to get me the money back." So I did that for a long time. I had to mow lawns and paid him back probably about half of it before he left me off the hook. But I hung out with all these guys who were in similar situations where like we weren't, when your school like goes on trips and stuff, like we weren't the kids who had the means to go and do stuff like that. So like I would hang out in this park. It's called Central Park. And even though it's like Ontario, South Central Ontario, and there was kind of nice houses around and all that stuff. We were all from like rougher neighborhoods, and we would hang in this park because it was a nice park and an easy place to be. And we would break into houses and cars at night. And we were pretty good at it. So, break into garages, steal people's golf clubs, always on acid. See, acid then was like $2.50 a hit. You get 2 hits for $5. So we were always on acid. We weren't sitting around smoking weed and drinking beers because that's too expensive, right? We were on acid and smoking cigarettes. And we would be able to steal cigarettes from the store because we knew the guy who owned the place. It was called M&S Mini Mart. Mike and Sam, and we knew Mike. And he would let us grab like a carton once in a while. So we always had cigarettes. But one of us got invited to, I didn't get invited to it, but one of us got invited to a party with like they were called like jocks. There was skids, there was wiggers is what we were considered. And there was like jocks. And these jocks were having this party, and one of our friends was on the hockey team and he heard about it. So we all went. We show up, we're in the house. It's a really nice house in this really nice neighborhood. And all of my friends, I mean, there's like 8 of us, right? We're looking for shit to steal, obviously. And we're starting to steal stuff, and we're all whacked on acid. We're not drunk and having a good time the way that these people are. They know these friggin' wiggers are in here stealing shit. So eventually one of us gets caught stealing like a Fabergé egg, and then we get all shoved out the front door, fighting and all that. We walk away, we go to this park, we're more accustomed to like a shitty park in the middle of the night, and we're there, and we're sliding on the slides, knocking each other off, playing on the swings. We used to play this game, Can, but it's not what you would think if you know what Can is. We called it Can, but it was our own game, where you would draw like a 5 foot in front of the swings. There'd be like a 5 foot square. So there'd be 2 swings beside each other, and you draw a 5 foot square out in front of it, and a 5 foot square out and back in the sand, and then a line in the middle. And then someone would throw a can in, and you guys would start swinging, trying to grab the can, chuck it on the other guy's side, and you're fighting the whole time, pushing each other, and the other guys, they'd start counting to 5. And if it got to 5 and that can was still on your side, once it got dropped on your side, then you get jumped by the whole group. So the stakes are high. Guys, we'd swing. I remember pushing this guy, Wes, pushing his legs, get up, push his legs, and he swung around. He hit his head on the post that was holding up the swings, and he was knocked out for a while. Had a concussion, but he never got, he died, actually. Not from that, but he's dead since then. But, it was rough. And on acid, having a great time. Reliving our childhood. One of my boys, he called it those the dreamy days. And anyways, it gets around like midnight, and we get kicked out of the party around 10. And one of us had gone in the basement and noticed that there was a wine cellar. So we're gonna rob this wine cellar. Come back to the party. There's still a bit of a party going on, but it's more like the close group of friends, I guess. It's died down. And kick in the window, and me and 3 other guys climb in there, and we start to toss out all the bottles. I broke into quite a few houses. I think I mentioned it before, where I would break into houses and just rearrange the furniture and leave with my friends. We'd do stupid shit like that. But I've probably broken into like about a dozen houses and stole shit. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but that's the kind of thing that we used to do. So we're breaking in this place. We're tossing out all the bottles, smoking a couple of cigarettes, not drinking though, for those keeping count. And we walk away. We got all these bottles of wine. They're probably worth like $40 a piece. We smash them on the curb. We don't have a cork, or a bottle opener, screw. Smashing the tops off, they're blowing up, and we're just getting a few like sips out of each of these wine bottles. There's desecrating the legacy of each of these wines that was held by whoever owned the house. Walking down the street, this van from the party swerves up on us, and the girl who's in the front goes, "Wait right here, I'm going to get my brothers." We're like, all right. And one of my buddies, Gary, was my best friend actually at the time. He's from Scotland. He had charges on him. He actually blew up a car. You break into a car. We call it car hopping. I guess other people do too. And the car had no money in it. And I was in there with him, and he lit the console in the middle on fire. He had matches, and he balled up a bunch of paper, and he lit the paper on fire. And used some accelerant. They had for Zippos. You fill it up in your Zippo, and they lit it all up all over the seat. We went back in the bushes, and the whole thing went on fire. I ran home. He stayed out, and he got arrested because the car blew up the person's bay window, almost killed somebody. So he's on this charge. We're walking down the street. Like I said, he throws his wine bottle at this van that's threatening us or whatever this girl's doing. And she's like, "Wait right here. I'll get my brothers." So we wait. 10 minutes later, cop cars come flying in. She just called the cops. Cop cars come flying in. They're talking to all of us. Who threw the bottle? Where'd you guys get all this wine? They don't know at this point that we broke into the house. They never found out somehow. And nobody says shit. And we all get arrested. All put into multiple cop cars. Me and Gary and this guy, Andy Mack, we called him. We're all in the same cop car. Gary's digging with his knife that they didn't find on him somehow into the seat and pushing all of this acid and shit that he had on him, because we were selling acid too. And we get to the cop station. They bring us in, they're roughing us up. It's like a slow night, I guess. They're having fun with us. They're like cowboys. It felt like we just got kidnapped by a bunch of thugs. They bring us in. They put me in a jail cell by myself. They think that I did it. Either me or Gary did it, is what they're deducing. And because I'm talking a lot. I'm telling them I want to join the military for some fucking reason. And I was wanting to join the military at that time. So they're being extra hard on me, like some initiation, or you can't stand the military shit, so we're going to act military towards you. They probably were in the military. Big mistake on my part. I'm in this cell for like half an hour. I hear them going to Gary's cell, who's right beside me, and they are beating him up. I can hear it happening. He's like getting Charlie horse, just gut punched, everything. You know, he told me later they were just gut punching him and Charlie horsing him so they wouldn't leave any blood or bruises, right? Although the Charlie horses could leave bruises, but it could be anything, right? They weren't punching him in the face. And they come into my cell. Ed, who did it? They take my ring. I had a stupid friggin' pinky mafia-style ring with a dull black gem on it. They take that. They take my pants. They take my shoes, and I'm left there sitting with a T-shirt and my boxers. It was Chicago Bulls silk boxer shorts, and I was cold. They left me there for like an hour. It was just dead silent. I hear, well, not quite. I hear some conversations and stuff going on, and I hear doors opening and all that. Maybe new people coming in, whatever. The one cop comes back. Gary and I have been talking through the wall. You tell me you got beat up and all that shit. I'm terrified because I think they're going to do the same to me. The cop comes in, grabs me by the scruff of the neck and just drags me out of the cell. Drags me all the way out to this other room that's dark, opens the door, puts me in the room, comes in with me, closes the door, and just stands there breathing. You know, like an old man who's kind of overweight and has hair in his nose, breathes, like fucking wheezing. It felt like 5 hours, just standing in front of me. I can smell his breath, his body odor. You know, he's right in my face, just standing in front of me, holding me still. Flicks on the lights, I realize I'm in like this room where they all do their little meetings. There's like seats and stuff, right? Who fucking threw the bottle? I don't know. Boom, up against the wall, hold me. Who fucking threw the bottle? I don't know. Right? Grabs me. Big mistake. Throws me back into the cell. Shuts the door. I'm in there. It's like 4 a.m. It's been, 4 hours in this situation now with these cops who are acting like they're gang members, trying to get some retribution against us for, I don't know, stealing from their gang or some shit. Like, it was really odd. And I remember thinking, like, I heard stories about cops being like this rough in the neighborhood where I was from, but to hear them beating my friend up and to be almost beat up myself and be threatened the way I was like, this can't be legal, right? But whatever. What am I going to do about it? No cell phones. There's nothing I can do. I'm fucked. It's not like they would let me have a cell phone if I was even had a cell phone in the cell. Finally, they give me the phone through the thing. They're like, call whoever you got to call. I call my mom. And as soon as I hear her voice, it's in the middle of the night, and she's like worried about me already, I guess, right? I start crying. And I don't know how I portrayed my mom in the past. I mean, life was rough at times and all that, and there were things that happened, but like, my mom was always there for me. In tough situations, she was always there and always stood up for me. I remember always saying my name to me and saying, like, did you do this or did you not do this? And I'd say, I didn't do it. I always had done it. I was like, okay, I got your back. And she would always have my back forever. Like, she would just hang. Get me out of problems in school. A couple other situations with police. But in this situation, she's like, okay, I'm going to come get you. She shows up and I hear her bitching at the cops. Like, how the fuck didn't you call me? What time did you arrested him? Like 4 hours ago. Like, why didn't you call me? I get brought out of the cell and the cops are all standing there. They've been bitched down by my mom. And they go, listen, say my name. I want you to know that all of your friends are gone. You're the only one here. Right? I heard Gary leave like an hour before I left. They all said it was Gary, but Gary said it was you. Okay. I leave. So that's my best friend. And these are all good friends of mine. I grew up with them. We've done a lot of things together. These are all the people I had, And we never spoke again after this. They were ashamed to even look at me. When we went to court, my mom paid for court. It cost like $3,000. Mischief under 5,000 was the charge. I was worried about getting this charge because I want to get into social services, maybe join the military. With a charge, you can't do shit. At that time, like, there was no way I was going to be able to like live any dream that I possibly had at that point if I had this charge. So Gary's dad comes up to me and he goes, listen, I want you to know that I'm making Gary say that he did it here. And then Gary pled guilty when we went up the second time. The first time he didn't say shit. The second time he did. Because my mom talked to him, I think. Or somebody fucking spoke to him. Maybe Gary did. And I got off the charges. And never spoke to those guys again. I ended up being completely on my own. No friends, no girl for a while. all kinds of things happened. I was very lonely for a long time, felt very distrustful of people, of anybody, got into a lot of problems because of it, but eventually got into social services and here and now. But that moment in that room with that cop holding me with the scruff of my neck, breathing in my face, trying to intimidate me like that after I heard my buddy get beat up like that was the scariest moment of my life. And I know it might seem a little bit tame, but it's true. And if I was to beef it up in any way to make it seem scarier, I'd be doing my history a disservice. It just was as simple as that. That's the scariest thing that ever happened to me. Eyes cocked, doors locked, stay paranoid. Thank you for your patience. I'll be back tomorrow with a real full dark topic. A horrible story about kids, but I try to douse it down and just tell it in a entertaining enough way so that it doesn't hurt so much. Thank you. Talking to you real soon.